Hey everyone, my name is Michelle and I'd like to go through my treatment for distant vestibular neuritis. If you're watching this video, then you're probably trying to figure out if you have vertigo and are dizzy and spinning all the time, what the heck is wrong, and if it will go away. So mine started back in January where I had a really bad sinus infection and bronchitis. So after about 2 months, it took a really long time. That went away, but I kept feeling that my ears were constantly full and I couldn't unblock my ears. And it was kind of like my head was super heavy, like it was too heavy for my neck. And I could feel my ears all the time. And you're really not supposed to be able to feel like that you have ears. So it was kind of like uh, the back of my head hurt, my neck hurt all the time, my ears were full. I didn't have ringing in my ears, but they would kind of start to unblock and then block right back up. I was lightheaded all the time, and the doctor thought maybe I wasn't eating or drinking enough, so I literally would carry a food bag with me, thinking it was low blood sugar or electrolyte issues. So I literally had like a traveling pantry with me all the time. I was constantly snacking, thinking that's what it was. Then I thought it was a thyroid, so I went to an endocrinologist. I had an MRI, thinking it was a brain, like an issue with my brain, because I was in a fog. I couldn't concentrate. People would say things to me, and I would look at them, and I had no idea what they were saying. Let me look at my notes. Sorry. And then I had my legs felt like jello, and that to me was the weirdest thing. Like my legs couldn't support my body. Like my body was too heavy for my legs. And a lot of people say the spongy feeling when you're walking, completely the spongy feeling, which is so hard to explain to anybody that you're walking, but you don't even feel like you're walking. It is the strangest, and you're off balance. Um, and the dizziness is sometimes I felt like I was in a boat moving, especially if I had to drive somewhere for the next hour or two at least. I was still moving. Even though I was not moving, I was still moving. Um, and at work, I work at a clothing store, so people would ask me to put something in a fitting room, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to walk all the way to the fitting room. There's obstacles, there's tables of clothes, there's racks. I mean, I had to like maneuver myself so I wouldn't run into stuff. Um, and they had no idea how hard that was for me to like put stuff in a fitting room. And then when I was ringing people up, I had to concentrate on getting somebody's email. When they would tell me their letters of their email, I had to really concentrate. Everything was kind of in a fog, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And my blood pressure kept going really high, and I was always anxious. Um, and trying to go into a restaurant, which I realize now is because you're trying to talk to people and your balance is off, and so your vision is off, and everything around you just is off. That was my best way to describe it. Was I everything just felt weird. I wasn't myself, but I looked fine, and so people were like, "Well, you look okay, and so you don't look sick." And that was really hard to explain to anybody who was trying to figure out what was wrong with me. So, like I said, I did a bunch of tests. I did a hearing test, the ENT, regular doctor, brain scan, endocrinologist, and I went to a vestibular therapist. And she asked me a ton of questions. We did a bunch of testing, um, and everything she said was what I had. And I'm like, okay, good. Now somebody's like, okay, this makes sense. So I did vestibular therapy. The weird thing is, which I didn't even know, is the one of the tests is to walk in a straight line, heel to toe, kind of like if you get pulled over for a DUI or whatever. I couldn't do it. I couldn't walk in a straight line without falling over. And I'm like, oh geez, I hope I don't get pulled over. Like I couldn't do it. I couldn't stand on one foot without my legs just wobbling. And in the middle of the night, if I had to go to the bathroom at night when it was dark, I would actually have to hold on to the walls, even though I know where my bathroom is. But I couldn't navigate. And then trying to get back to the bathroom, I like actually have to think about it because, and my vision was off too. That's another thing. Um, I couldn't, I kept going to the eye doctor and thinking my contacts weren't strong enough. So I got stronger contacts, which actually made it worse because they were too strong. So that gave me a headache. So I went back to my old prescription, but I could never see clearly. I could only see, it was like just like kind of foggy, and I kept taking my contacts out and putting new ones in. I spent a lot of money on contacts, just to see clearer, which is also part of the whole vestibular system. So, anyways, so I started doing the vestibular therapy, which has helped a ton. Um, you're kind of trying to retrain your brain to do things that you could do before, to walk normal, to be in a crowd of people would really bother me because there's too much going on and I couldn't focus. So that was really hard. My son plays college volleyball, and I watching his games, because I'm looking back and forth, and I'm with a crowd of people. I had to stand up in the stands to watch, which was actually worse because I had to look down and try to look side to side, which really messed with the spin. I was constantly spinning, and I just literally had to start just concentrating on watching one kid play at a time because I couldn't look across the court and back and forth. Um, and my husband's like, "You're just nervous watching him play," which, yeah, I am, but because my kid's the one that will, dive for every ball. But it was nervous to a different degree. It was because I couldn't focus. I was spinning all the time, and I couldn't concentrate. So anyway, so I started the vestibular therapy, and then I started acupuncture, which has made a world of difference. I don't like needles, and I don't like the treatment. Not that anybody likes the treatment, although some people, it's supposed to be super relaxing. However, I did the first 2 times. I'm like, I kind of noticed a little bit of a difference, not a great difference. But the third time, I went every week. I've gone 7 times now, and the acupuncturist, she puts them in specific places that do your balance and your vision. And I was super skeptical at first. But I was like at wit's end. I wasn't working because I had to stop working for about 6 weeks, just because I couldn't stand. Actually, I couldn't drive myself to work, for one, but I couldn't stand. And so the acupuncture I read online, and I thought, what the heck, I might as well try it. So it has helped a ton. Um, it's amazing that in just this short time of 7 weeks. So the acupuncture has helped a lot. I do that every week, and like I said, I don't like the process, but I like the result. So I am going to stick with it, and then I do herbal medicine, which once again I was a little skeptical. Like I didn't know. It's like drinking tree bark. It doesn't taste very good, but that has helped too. So if you want to try something that's different than just the therapy, but I do them both. I do the therapy once or twice a week, and I do the acupuncture once a week, and I drink the tree bark twice a day. I actually make it in the morning, and I drink it all afternoon, and it's a super concentrated. Then I add a bunch of water, and I kind of drink it all day long, and then I make it later in the day, and then drink that till night. You could probably just down it, but I'm kind of wimpy with the taste, so I do it this other way. Plus, I feel like I'm getting some every, half hour or whatever. So that's kind of what I've done, and that's worked for me. Hopefully, it does get better. And I literally, like I said, I was in the ER twice. Didn't have anybody explain. Nobody knew what was wrong with me. And so I thought, what the heck, I'm going to try something. Like I said, try the therapy. That helps. It is now June, so I've been doing the therapy and the acupuncture and the tea for about 8 weeks now. And like I said, I'm about 75 to 80% better. The only thing that's hard for me right now still is driving on the highway, just because it's constant movement. And when I stop, I'm still a little bit dizzy, but I can go back to work. I can go to a grocery store now, which I couldn't do before because there was too much going on and I got super dizzy walking down the aisles. And I couldn't shop, which has saved me quite a bit of money. But so that's gotten so much better. So if you have any questions, I don't know, YouTube, I guess you can email me or text me, or no, I can't, you can't text me. Anyway, since I've never done a video, I don't know. But if you have, hopefully this helps you a little bit in your journey, and it's worth a try. Like I said, it's worked for me. So, all right, thank you.